This marriage is being held together by a thread. Mr. Threlkeld, who has been in the army for quite some time, comes back home only to find out that his wife cheated on him. He says that if he is not the father of the child, he is going to walk away from the marriage. Well, here's how their story begins in the courtroom.
Mr. Threlkeld, you have entered this courtroom with a marriage on the brink of divorce. You state that while you were out of the country serving in the military, your wife paraded around town with other men, and she has admitted to cheating multiple times. You claim you are not sure if you are the father of her third child, 18-month-old Liliana, and have asked the court for a paternity test.
Yes, ma'am.
A few indiscretions? Haha, that is hilarious. Mr. Threlkeld tells the courtroom that his wife has admitted to cheating on him more than once, and at this point he just wants to know if he is the father of the child.
So I thought we were gonna, settle it. Well, it turns out his wife and my wife were friends, and she had found out that she was actually stripping as we spoke. And at the time, I found out about it. I thought, it was all just a hoax. So I went, calmly to the internet lounge, got on Facebook and asked her, hey, is it true you're doing what I told you I didn't want you doing at all? And she didn't really say anything, honestly.
She was posting these pictures while still being married to Mr. Threlkeld? Hahaha, yeah, I would have ended the marriage a long time ago. I mean, what excuse or logical explanation could she have for deciding to be a stripper?
I could somewhat deal with, tell me about this guy that's going on. And she says, oh, it's nothing, it's just a friend, etc. The same BS that every girl says.
First of all, we were done. He hacked my Facebook. He invaded my privacy, and he looked into my stuff, into my messages.
So
that's how we found out.
Oh my god, how can she do such a thing? I mean, if she was tired of the marriage, she should have just ended the whole thing. Why stay in a marriage and then go on to disrespect her husband in such a way? That's just awful.
First of all, we were done. We were not together. We had a phone conversation, and he had said, we're gonna get a divorce, and I'll send you the divorce papers. And then we hung up. And let me finish.
What had happened was, when I was at Paternity, we got in a phone argument, like she said, on Skype. And I told her, look, if you're gonna strip after me and you, I've already gone through the discussion that you're not to do it until I get back, and we'll talk about it then.
That doesn't even make sense. She needs more money for what exactly? Mr. Threlkeld literally makes enough to sort out whatever she needs. So what exactly does she need the extra money for? That has got to be the dumbest excuse I have ever heard.
In a month,
I had to have
tax-free.
it mainly.
This is what I'm trying to understand. Ms. Threlkeld, you say you guys were done.
Yes.
So in other words, these things that he's finding on your Facebook and these indiscretions you're telling him about, this really shouldn't be an issue, because in your mind, you thought your marriage was over.
Messed up as it may be.
Yes.
Now that explains it. Looks like she was already tired of the marriage, and this was just an excuse for her to finally get what she wanted. Sad. I honestly feel really sad for Mr. Threlkeld.
To make matters worse, ma'am, when I went out the day I was supposed to come back home from overseas, we were told before we even got on the plane at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, that there's going to be the color guard, the motorcycles that drive, in front. The news was going to be there. I get there, and not my father, my mother, my wife, like I said, we'll quote that, weren't even there. We get there, they call everybody's names up, everybody's clapping and cheering, they come to my name, and it's just dead quiet.
At this point, can it get any worse for Mr. Threlkeld? He tells the judge that while everyone was returning home from the army, his wife and kids were nowhere to be found. Mrs. Threlkeld couldn't even pick up her husband from the airport.
See, when she picked me up,
I did.
she came dressed in her clear hooker shoes and this.
Hooker shoe.
That's one whole outfit?
I think that's a dress is what they call it. I don't know.
Yes.
She's in clear shoes with money still in them. And
Okay, that was for decoration.
So you come home, Mr. Threlkeld, and your wife and your family aren't there, but she eventually does pick you up.
Honestly, I won't put anything past Mrs. Threlkeld. If she can pick up her husband while wearing her stripper outfit, there's honestly nothing she can't do. It must honestly suck to be in Mr. Threlkeld's shoes right now.
Snatched the phone from her, and I started going through it. And as I was looking through it, there was a number that she'd called like 13 times. So I called him right back. And he answers the phone, hey, I said, who is this? Are you the one that's been my wife? He said, yes, I've been. And now her defense, she starts laughing, saying, I knew he was just gonna say that. He's just saying that to make you mad. And it was ridiculous. I mean, that was just the only defense.
So when he calls the guy on the phone, you deny.
Unbelievable. That is just unbelievable. She couldn't even wait to be properly divorced before getting a boyfriend. What even hurts the most is the fact that she does not feel any remorse for what she has done. I honestly doubt Mr. Threlkeld is the father of the child.
Being home
All right, we keep skipping the event or events that led to the conception
Actually, ma'am,
of your last child in which you feel you may or may not be the father.
well, I was
Why don't
actually,
you just be quiet?
when I was overseas and I found out about her stripping and her cheating, there was a few options that came across my head of how I should deal with it.
How was he expecting that to work? I mean, she already started to strip while he was in the army and somehow managed to keep it a secret from him. Did he really expect that getting her pregnant would make her stay in the marriage? Come on, Mr. Threlkeld.
When
need a lie
it comes
detector
closer
test. We don't need
to
to
actually
take
doing it, she starts, getting nervous. I could start telling from body language and, tone of her voice, she was getting nervous.
We don't need a lie detector test. We just need communication. There's no
She
reason.
tells me straight out.
What happened?
She tells me straight out about the people that she actually cheated on me with. Right after our first daughter, she cheated on me with a guy when she was going to cosmetology school. On her way to cosmetology school, she goes to his house.
If you ask me, Mrs. Threlkeld has to be the most disgusting and shameful woman to ever walk into the paternity courtroom. I think we've heard enough of her yapping and immoralities. Let's see what the DNA results have in stock for us.
Mr. Threlkeld, you are Liliana's father.
Mrs. White claims that the only way to save her marriage and family is to prove to her husband he is the father of their 3-year-old daughter. She admits to cheating on him, but hopes that he won't leave her when he finds out the child belongs to him. Well, here's how the case starts.
Ms. White, you've opened your case because your last and only way to save your marriage and family is to prove to your husband that he fathered your 3-year-old daughter, Savannah.
Yes, Your Honor.
You admit you've cheated in the past, but hope once the results are revealed, your husband will trust you again. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Her marriage is definitely hanging on by a thread. Her husband doesn't even look like he wants to be in that courtroom. All he wants is to know if he's the dad. It does seem like he loves the child, though. Or could that be a lie?
Just the other day, she was at my mother's, and she woke up and she asked, "Where's Daddy?"
And I can see this is just tearing you apart.
It is.
It's just eating away at you. I can see that. Explain to the court how it has been for 3 years to have doubt.
It's been rough and emotional because when it first all come about to where I had the suspicions, it was she was having an ex-boyfriend come over while I was at work.
She was having an argument with her husband, and she called another guy to come to the house? Who does that? I mean, what was she thinking? That the guy she was cheating with would come to her rescue? That's just hilarious.
You just don't have any trust in this relationship.
No, because from a week after we got married until February of this year, I've been catching her cheating constantly.
A week after you got married?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. White, have you been cheating?
Yes, but I have abandonment issues because I was adopted. So if he's not showing me the love and affection that I need.
Talk about a woman who lives her life with 100% delusion. She wants her husband to hold her hand in public, but she thinks he's going to do that when she cheats. What's even funnier is the fact that she blames it on abandonment issues. Like, that's gonna cut it.
Find out for sure until she admittedly told me when Savannah was 6 months old that there was a 50-50 chance that Savannah wasn't mine.
And how did you get to a place where you decide you're gonna tell him, Ms. White?
We got into an argument and we ended up splitting up, and I was over at my mom's house, and he said the only way I could come back into the house is if I was to admit everything and just be honest.
Seems to me like he really loves her. If I were to be in his shoes and I caught her cheating, even if it was just once, boy, I'm out of that relationship. She should know better than to disrespect her husband.
And I was pissed off, but at the same time, it was kind of a relief because I knew for a fact that it was actually happening. It wasn't just, oh, it's an assumption, I don't know for a fact. But I think more than anything that I was more hurt because I done got attached to her, 6 months old.
Isn't he just a perfect man? He literally does everything to make sure his kids and Mrs. White are always taken care of. It just sucks that she had to cheat on him and break his heart. He deserves better than this.
I have text messages proof right here of the most recent is Valentine's Day. She went to another man's house while I'm sitting at the house with the kids.
Well, that's because you didn't even get me anything, and you were just yelling at me. You were treating me like crap and was gonna go to a friend's house, so.
Because you were saying you were going to a park at 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, she did not just say that. Who leaves her family on Valentine's Day and decides they want to go to a park by 9 in the night? Yo, this woman needs some serious scolding.
White says, my body's naked, wishing you was in this bed with me. The ex-boyfriend texts back, LOL, you are crazy, about to call you in a minute. Your wife says, LMAO, could you do that for me? Miss White, why are you so quiet? Why are you texting your ex-boyfriend these things?
Because he don't treat me right. Like,
Sometimes these ladies just don't know when they take things to the very extreme. She's sending this type of text to her ex-boyfriend, and she's saying her husband isn't treating her right. I honestly won't blame him if he doesn't, if we're being honest.
It says, you can bring me some cigs, LOL, Al's a blank, and give me a Valentine's Day treat, cause Al not gonna do blank. Ex-boyfriend responds, LOL, you are a nut. I'll give you a call when I get a chance here in a little bit.
Is she being serious? I mean, if she doesn't want to be in the marriage, she might as well just say so rather than going about and telling different men she wants to sleep with them. Even Judge Lauren can't hide her irritation.
Happy Valentine's Day.
How did you find out about this, Mr. White?
When on Valentine's Day, when I found the text message, I took the entire phone. And I still have possession of the phone at my house. That has all the pictures, all the text messages, all the calls, everything.
I am beyond speechless. As if the text messages with other guys were not enough. She even has pictures where she's naked. This is enough grounds for a divorce. It doesn't seem like she really wants to fix the marriage, if you ask me.
You're saying you're not getting what you need in the marriage. So why not just leave the marriage? Why keep doing this if you are gonna engage in this type of activity?
well, I called the court just so I can get the result of the kids in Savannah and just move on with our lives, and no more cheating, no more nothing, just us taking care of the kids.
And somehow, it feels like she might end up cheating if the kid belongs to Mr. White. Oh well, the DNA results are ready. Let's get to the bottom of all of this, shall we?
Mr. White, you are her father.
Ms. Stembridge slept with her boyfriend's best friend and roommate. At least this is Mr. Buchanan's argument today in court, and they did it while he was locked up too. Ms. Stembridge adds that he has trust issues with respect to women, so he does not trust her anymore, but she promises him that the baby is his.
That's why I'm sleeping with your girl while you locked up.
Okay, that wasn't exactly the news you wanted to hear, right?
Nah, not really, no. And who wants to hear that? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I'm gonna take that serious. You know, I'm a serious kind of guy. I expect people to be out.
Okay, so this man trusted her to some extent, at least. Now, what exactly is wrong? What went wrong between the two? How did we get from this phase up until where you do not trust your girlfriend with your own best friend? To top it all off, you find yourself in paternity court over this drama.
Which is breaking the brother code, all right? You don't drink. I don't care if it's a supermodel. You ain't drinking. This must supposed to be my best friend. You know, you had the right to say, all right? If
So
it's
you
peer pressure,
blaming?
Whoa, so all the responsibility is on her now. All the blame is placed on Ms. Stembridge. It's understandable because she is the one in the relationship, not the best friend. Regardless of all of this, saying that he doesn't blame Eric for anything is quite interesting, because whatever happened to bro code,
I was cool with that. I threw that out the window, all right? Cool. You had a few beers, I can understand. That's cool, I understand, all right? But then, check this out, all right? She
Check
kinda-
it out.
She kinda picked me up. She kinda picked me up, all right? We get home, or we on the way home, and I'm looking at them, they both nervous.
oh, now we're getting to it. He finds out that they have been drinking some more, and he did not hear about it. Looks like he thought that it was simply a one-time thing. But wait a minute, if these two left the drinks lying around so casually, does that not mean they have nothing to hide?
She told me about the beer, so when you picked me up, why didn't you fair warn me about the liquor before I got home? Why you gonna let me find out by
was
myself?
none to
Because you
hide.
forgot. Because you forgot.
I didn't forget too
You
much.
forgot.
It was still there, weren't it? I didn't forget too
Okay,
much.
first, the best friend tells you he slept with your girl.
Looks like this man was really hurt by those lemon drops. He really said that if she's drinking some lemon drops with him, he doesn't need to hear that Ms. Stembridge is drinking those lemon drops with another man, especially after figuring out how wild she gets after drinking. Said lemon drops.
From my ex, all right? My ex is who I was dating before her. All right, I get a phone call. I'm like, yeah, what's up? Okay. Oh, I need to check my girl. Why I need to check my girl? Nah, you need to check your girl. She was laid up in your best friend's bed while you were locked up.
Whoops, what a duo these two. Now he's telling us about how short her shorts were while he was not there. Also, she was lying down in the same bed, in the same room, in the same house that the three of them share. Really, Mr. Buchanan? Are you really going on like this?
Guys,
with her,
come on, up to the
please.
podium, please. Now, Mr. Buchanan says that you witnessed firsthand
Yes, ma'am, I
some
did.
very
Disturbing.
inappropriate behavior.
That was not
Miss
going on, Your
Girlfriend.
Honor.
What exactly did you witness?
Did I witness when I walked in?
Whoa, okay, Mr. Buchanan. Mrs. Stembridge is looking at this woman with eyes that scream, look what the cat dragged in. If you're going to be in court today telling us about how much you love and appreciate your ex, maybe we should take a short drive to couples court right after this.
Free night to go to sleep unless she has me laying in that bed with her.
He is a great
You
father,
have
Your
tears
Honor.
in your eyes as
Yeah, that's my life.
not your biological daughter. What will you do?
If it ain't mine,
So these two women definitely will not survive being left alone in a small room for 2 minutes. What is the problem here? How do we get to the bottom and very beginning of their fight? Mr. Buchanan is definitely gonna have to just pick a side because they cannot keep living like this. Phew.
Your girlfriend or your ex? Now, the problem is this. We're down and you were confused, know what to believe, to talk to, and she could tell you what she maybe or maybe not saw. You have Ms. McNeil in your ear.
Would you take a look at that? He's such a good father to the baby girl and he wants her so bad. Now, is that his biological daughter or not? Has Ms. Stembridge really been sleeping around or has she not? We can only hope not, but we'll be sure when we see the results.
Mr. Buchanan, you are.
Thank you.
that's a blessing.
Ms. Petty has been sleeping with 2 men simultaneously, using one to get back at her ex and at the same time keeping him in her life because of the baby she already has for him. What a woman. Could there be more to the story? I guess we're going to find out. This is about to be one hell of a case.
The reason I doubt her is because she was sleeping around with me and Peter at the same time. The only reason I started messing around with her was to get my son.
You have an older child together, so you were messing around with her to get him.
The way you gotta
Whoops. After having the older child together, they had the option of staying together and raising the boy. They obviously did not take that option. Ms. Petty moved on with another man too, so why in hell and in the heavens did they keep messing around with one another? It honestly makes zero sense. I mean, were they not thinking there could be consequences?
told me she was on birth control. Yeah, I tried to stop messing with her, but every time I stopped messing with her, she'll go ahead and bring up like, well, you can't see your son and all this. You ain't gonna be able to. I don't want him to come
And
over
when
there
you refer
because it's
to
unsafe.
Peter, that's Mr. Daniel.
Yes, Mr. Daniel, my bad.
Your contention is that he never really got over you and
Oh, Ms. Petty. Surely the entire concept of commitment must be too much for your pretty head. If you choose a man, the whole point of it all is to stay with that one man. Nothing like staying with the man and still going back to your ex-boyfriend. But here we are.
And they were sleeping with each other unprotected.
All right, let's calm down. Let's calm down. I want to look at this young lady because I feel like I'm watching a tennis match. My neck's just going back and forth and back and forth, and you right here in the middle.
Well, well, well. Look at both of them go. It's so difficult for Judge Lake to get a word in as it is. If Ms. Petty claims that her current boyfriend put his name on the certificate because he knows the lies Stefan told her, how come she's still sitting at his feet, eating up all those lies? Those lies have to taste hella good, if you know what I mean.
He don't care no way. He don't want to be around for her. For the chance, like, to get to know him. He avoided child support. He avoided
I've been paying child support for my
DNA
son.
testing for my daughter. In St. Louis, I told him.
Whoa, Ms. Petty really thinks that he already knows in his gut and is trying to run away from his responsibilities. What if he doesn't, though? What if he's just a man that keeps projecting off of the fact that he really does not know if it's his baby or not?
I was afraid I was going to hear that.
All she was trying to do was break a relationship. She was just trying to break up my relationship.
How am I breaking up his relationship?
Because
He
every
came
time,
to me.
anytime,
Okay,
I didn't
so
call you
Mr.
to say come
Ball.
over and have sex. You called me. I'm coming to get my son, but
Oh my goodness, she's been doing what? Does her current boyfriend even know about this? Oh, it would simply break him. Why exactly is Mr. Ballet acting like he never did anything wrong too? Talking about how Ms. Petty keeps ruining his relationship. Why did he have to keep sleeping around with his ex as well? Come on, it definitely was consensual sex.
Avoiding the DNA test. He's not avoiding it, but why can't Mr. Daniel take it right then and there?
because he
Why
is
can't
there.
you take
He
it?
is like, if he feel like he's the father, he been there the whole time. All I'm doing is taking care of my son and my daughter.
Well,
that's what I've been doing.
That's really all that matters at this point. They have both taken the DNA test, and the results are with the judge, so neither of the men can run away from the truth right now. But I can't believe that he did not want to take the DNA test because the other guy was already playing the daddy role. I mean, what happens if he turns out to be the father?
Did you know that she had been having a sexual relationship with Mr. Ball as well?
She told me before because of the situation when we got together.
Okay.
So she told me that time
But
when
through
they
the
did.
entire pregnancy, you were there. You
time.
were there at the birth.
Yes.
You cut the umbilical cord?
Yes.
Of course. She told him about the one time. Now, who knows if it's just one time or if there are more times. After every single moment Mr. Daniels has had with the baby, imagine ripping his heart out of his chest and tearing it to pieces, telling him that he's not the father.
So when's the last time you and Mr. Ball had a sexual relationship?
last week.
It was not last week. The last time we had a sexual relationship is when she said they broke up.
Mr. Daniel, I see you.
What is wrong with these two? Honestly, they are meant for one another, and they need to take their baggage out of Mr. Daniels' life. They were together last week, as per some days ago. Isn't that the most messed up thing? It seems like it would really never end.
Looking around to see what's going on, I see her hand, he's laying down, her hands is in his boxers.
What? Okay. It's from the look on your face that you all had another sexual encounter that day.
I wasn't even trying to that day.
But not about
I promise you.
Whoa, her hand was where? Surely she wasn't looking for some truth down his boxers. This woman has a loyal and responsible man that loves her and keeps taking all of this. What more does she want? Putting her hands down other men's boxers, searching for God knows what?
If she not mine, for Mr. Daniel. But if she is mine, custody of both of my children. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a better parent than both of them. Because
He a better parent than both of us.
Yes.
Well, my son was in
Wait.
the hospital
Oh my-
in the ER. I said, can
my
you
son
please?
is 3 years old.
Well, now both dads want full custody. Isn't that something? Let's find out if the baby belongs to Mr. Daniels or Mr. Hands Down His Boxers. Maybe there's another man whose boxers she was searching for some other truth in. We'll find out today in court. Here are the results.
Mr. Ball, you are her father.
Mr. Murray dragged his wife to court, claiming that while she was away, serving her country in the army, she cheated on him and now believes he is not the father of their child. Ms. Brown Murray, who happens to be his wife, says she is heartbroken because she knows for a fact that he is the father. Well, here's how it all begins.
Today you say you stand before me outraged because your husband has accused you of infidelity while serving in Iraq. Furthermore, you claim he now doubts paternity of your child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you can't argue with that. I mean, it's very normal to meet so many guys while in the army, but that doesn't give you the right to kick it in bed with them. But if that's the case, why is her husband having doubts about their child?
I assured him every day. I Skyped with him every day. We would Skype every day, and when I wasn't able to, there was a bomb going off or something that I would have to get in the bunker and for hours and hours. So if there wasn't a time, then I would be in the bunker, and then I would get back to him the next day.
If what she's saying is true, there is a high chance her husband might be in the wrong. She says that while she was in the army, she always spoke to her husband and reassured him that she was being loyal. But yet again, why does he think she cheated on him?
A lot of men's on base, younger men. Keep in mind, I'm 22 years older than my wife. So that has a lot to do with me being guilty or bad conscience.
Because you wanted to be with someone younger.
Yes, I lost 20 pounds not eating.
A real bomb? I'm not even going to deny it. If I were to be in his shoes, I'd want to be with my wife every single minute of the day. That still doesn't explain why he feels the child does not belong to him.
Young boy told me, he said, this is when I really got worried. He said, Mary's world, when they overseas, they have a group of people, and that group got to stay each other. If they're there for 2 years, who are you going to see for 2 years? He said, yeah, there's married people.
Looks like his fears got the best of him when he had that. Mr. Murray told the judge that while his wife was away, he met up with some military men, and they told him things that made him feel like his wife was cheating on him. Mr. Murray is definitely the type of man who thinks a lot.
Mr. Murray, be honest, I mean, this situation it's been bothering you. I mean, consuming you so that you've done some research, questions, and trying to figure out what are the dynamics that go on in the military? And you brought a witness, can attest to just that.
Did he just say he had a witness? Oh, come on. How bad does the overthinking get for you to get a witness in the military who can support his claims? Man, that's just crazy. Well, let's hear what his witness has to say.
Well, first and foremost, I don't want to bring any discredit upon the military because the actions of soldiers, they do not reflect the military. But there are a lot of times where you join the military and you're away from home, and so the first thing you can do is cling to people who are around you. You develop a camaraderie.
Temporarily divorced? Oh, now I see why Mr. Murray has so many doubts. His witness tells the judge that there are certain missions that require their operatives to act or behave in ways that might appear as if they have no family. That must be very intense.
Why is he calling you? Oh, just to make sure I'm doing okay. Make sure you're doing okay? Well, is something wrong? No. And then that was the end of that conversation.
We called each other. He called me because he wanted to make sure I was okay, that I made it home alive. He left the deployment before.
Excuse me, but what did he just say? She said, what? Oh, she has some serious explaining to do. Even I would be pissed as hell if I found myself in such a situation for real. I wonder what her excuse is going to be.
Your husband are being flirtatious. And if anyone would know how you sound are flirting, it would be your husband.
Yes, but that's not the case.
But you weren't flirting.
No.
Seems like she is still sticking to her side of the story. She tells the judge that she wasn't mocking her husband. She was simply talking to a friend over the phone, and her husband misunderstood the whole situation. Could that be the case?
Some of your fellow servicemen
even if they're members of the opposite sex and married. Is that common to continue those relationships because of the bonds while you were serving together?
Absolutely, because a lot of times when we go to work.
If we're being honest, looking at the type of man Mr. Murray is, it's not surprising that he thinks his wife might have cheated on him. As much as there are people who betray their marriages by sleeping with someone else, there are other people who stay loyal. The big question now is whether Mrs. Brown Murray is one of those people.
Even with the doubt of good father, he still takes care of her.
I have other kids. All my kids is a split image of me. She doesn't too much look like me. She's bad like me when I was that age.
Well, that could be true, but then again, if the child doesn't look like him, that necessarily doesn't mean he is not the father. But what do we know? I think we'd let the DNA test reveal the truth. Hopefully he is the father of the child.
That you are her father.
Thank you. Thank you.
My niece.